is QTV Night News, coming to you live from our studios on Kaiba Avenue, and I am Jenna Wasonko. Thanks for joining us here at the main news headlines. On Wednesday, President Adama Barrow, accompanied by the Minister of Transport, Works and Infrastructure, embarked on a day-long inspection tour of several road construction projects within the Kanifing municipality and the West Coast region. The Trade Ministry, in collaboration with the National African Continental Free Trade Area Implementation Strategy Team, on Wednesday launched a 3-day capacity building workshop to sensitize stakeholders on the rules of origin under the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement. Following its introduction in June last year, the National Assembly is set to pass the Students' Revolving Loan Bill after concluding its second review on Tuesday. To underscore the importance of public-private sector partnerships in national health development, the Cornerstone Group, in collaboration with US-based humanitarian organization MAP International, has donated over $1 million worth of medical supplies to the Edward Francis Moore Teaching Hospital. The Office of the President, the Ministry of Justice and the UN system in the Gambia have convened a landmark national conference on transitional justice. Those were the main headlines, and now the news in detail. Do stay. Thank you for staying with us. This is QTV News and I am Jenna Sonko. On Wednesday, President Adama Barrow, accompanied by the Minister of Transport, Works and Infrastructure, embarked on a day-long inspection tour of several road construction projects within the Kanifing municipality and the West Coast region. Usman Jatta joined the President's convoy and he files in this report.
President Barrow strongly believes that Gambia's development cannot happen in the absence of a good road infrastructure, and thus he is actively monitoring the progress of his promise to the electorate to modernize roads across the length and breadth of the country. In his latest round of road inspection in Kanifing municipality, President Barrow was warmly received by Minister of Transport Ibrahim Silla and a delegation of senior government officials in Ibo Town. They inspected the ongoing road construction in Ibo Town and made recommendations for improvement. From Ibo Town, the convoy proceeded to Tabokoto, entering the town and traveling through the Tabokoto-Banjulinding Road, EPC Lot 5. Next, the President drove along the Willingara-Abuko Road, continuing to Sinchu-Willingara Road, then onward along Sinchu Road to the overpass at the Coastal Road. From the Kanifing municipality, President Barrow is currently touring the Farato Bojankunda Road stretch, a vital route which is expected to connect remote communities to the Brikama Banjul Highway. At this project site, roadworks are in the final stages, with contractors Bolongel applying asphalt on the road. The residents Sibi Tamba, Aminata Sanyang and Dominic Jatta expressed delight and gratitude for the progress made.
We are very excited with the construction of this highway. We never thought it would ever look this way. And President Barrow made it a dream come true. In the past, the highway was dominated by dust, but now we say Alhamdulillah, we are very grateful.
In the past, we found it very challenging to ply this road. Neither vehicles, motorbikes, nor people could use it. We are very happy. The President's motorcade headed to Bijelo en route to Kersering and exited at Kololi New Road. His convoy finally drove through Sanchaba Road, completing his inspection in Kololi. At the end of the road inspection in Kololi, President Barrow held a press briefing to update on the progress of the road projects.
This is phase 2, it's finishing, but for sure before the end of the year, we will start phase 3. But overall, we are very happy with the progress, and I think we have achieved a lot. We promise the Gambian people, we are here to represent them. If you are elected as a president, it's a contract, and this is a social contract. That contract, that's what we are trying to fulfill and make sure we impact on the life of the people. You cannot develop your country without developing the roads. That's why we are really concentrating on doing roads, but we are doing other things also different.
As the country continues to prioritize infrastructure development, these road projects signal a transformative shift in national mobility and urban planning. Osman Jata reporting for QTV News.
The Ministry of Trade, Industry, Regional Integration and Employment, in collaboration with the National African Continental Free Trade Area Implementation Strategy Team, on Wednesday launched a 3-day capacity building workshop aimed to sensitize stakeholders on the rules of origin under the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement. Yafa Tugay has the rest of that story.
The workshop brought together custom officials, public sector representatives and private business owners to deepen their understanding of AFCFTA provisions, particularly the rules of origin, which are critical in determining which product qualify for preferential tariff treatment under the agreement. The training forms part of the Gambia's 10 years national AFCFTA implementation strategy, which outlines a roadmap to expand trade opportunities, attract investment and drive industrial growth. Speaking at the event, MOTLE officials highlighted that the workshop is vital in enabling businesses to take full advantage of new trade opportunities across the continent. Here is Mahdi Damfa, the Deputy Permanent Secretary for the Ministry of Trade, and Usman Bojang, Director of Trade at the Ministry of Trade.
This agreement is a critical pathway to diversify exports, boost industrialization, expand market access, enhance job creation, and drive inclusive economic growth.
When goods come in, how do they know that this particular consignment is from a country, is originate from a country that is participating in the AFCFTA? So therefore, most of the export product, they go with what we call rules of origin certificate. So every custom will now look at the rules of origin certificate of that consignment to know actually where this good is coming from and how do we treat this good under this agreement.
Matiko Hagar, Deputy Director of the International Cooperation Division at the Customs and Tariffs Bureau within Japan's Ministry of Finance, delivered a statement on behalf of the World Customs Organization.
WCO and Japan Customs is honored to support this workshop and appreciate for such a great opportunity.
The AFCFTA launched in 2018 and officially entered into force in 2019 is one of the African Union's flagship initiatives on the Agenda 2063, the Africa we want. The agreement seeks to establish a single continental market for goods and services, enhance intra-African trade, and accelerate economic integration across the continent. With a combined market of over 1.4 billion people and a GDP exceeding $3.4 trillion, the AFCFTA represents a transformative opportunity for African nations to industrialize, increase exports, and generate employment. Moses Sonko, a participant from Smiling Coast Agro-Processing, expressed how impactful the Free African Trade Agreement will have on Gambian business owners.
It would be great because, like Africa, we have about 1.3 billion population. So if we can have more inter-Africa trade, that would boost a lot of businesses.
The Gambia ratified the AFCFTA agreement on April 1, 2019, becoming the 22nd country to do so and helping bring the agreement into force. Since then, the country has shown strong commitment by aligning its trade policies and validating its national implementation strategy. As a small, strategically located economy, the Gambia sees the AFCFTA as a key opportunity to diversify exports, boost industrial growth, expand market access, and promote inclusive, sustainable development. Reporting for QTV News, this is Yafatu Gay.
Following its introduction in June last year, the National Assembly is set to pass the Students' Revolving Loan Bill after concluding its second review on Tuesday. Once enacted, the bill is expected to provide scholarships and other opportunities in higher education for students from less privileged backgrounds. And Sumane Sunyasi tells us more.
This follows the bill's referral to the committee following a second consideration by Parliament at the last adjourned proceeding. As they scrutinized the bill, members offered their views, occasionally engaging with the Higher Education Minister, Professor Pierre Gomez. After thoroughly reviewing the bill for several hours, NAMS reached a consensus after a majority voted in favor of the bill, notwithstanding several amendments. Here are Honorable Lamin Sise, member for Kiang West, Honorable Jibimbalo, the member for Lower Fuladu West, and Honorable Suleiman Sao, the member for Central Badibu, among others engaging the Minister of Higher Education.
Who may have the power to do that? Is it the board chairperson could have the power to constitute a committee when he feels it is necessary to have a committee, like it prevails in other institutions where you need to create a sub-institution under you? There is a power given to somebody to be able to do that.
They increase the bureaucracy level. Why not within the ministry, you just remove a unit without creating executive director and the like?
When you say tuition fees and related matters for post-secondary level students, the related matters is meant for post-secondary. It's not meant for university.
In response to their queries, especially on the selection and composition of the board to oversee the fund and related matters, Professor Pierre Gomez, the Minister of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology, offered a detailed explanation, including how the availability of such a scheme will help address challenges and enhance academic research and learning in tertiary institutions.
Because when we were working on this, Honorable Speaker, many people referred us to what happened in the early 70s and 80s, saying that hope you guys will not just distribute the money anyhow, and So we were trying to look at how to take those concerns into consideration, to put mechanism in place that at the end of the day, if you are given the opportunity to handle this thing, you will go to the National Assembly. And the message is, when you go to the National Assembly, you know that things will not be that easy for you. You will have to really prove that really you manage national resources so that it serves as a bar.
The bill, which is now scheduled to be read for a third time on Friday, July 11, 2025, seeks to provide an alternative funding source for students who may not be eligible for government scholarships. It is part of government's efforts to ensure broader access to tertiary education, especially for post-secondary students in accredited tertiary institutions. Ansumane Sonyasi for KTV News.
From that story by Ansumane Sonyasi, we will now go for a short commercial break. When we return, we hear about $1 million donation to the Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital. We also hear about how the convening of a landmark national conference on transitional justice. Join us after the break for these and other stories.
fii mooy fan fii mooy INESA di place bi nga xam ne moom la ñëpp taam place bii bépp xeetu ataaya bu baax rek bu dugg see ci dëkk bi xamal li fii rek la am bara wërga bii neex na lool saf na ba pare tamit nag am gu bu neex boo ko naanee rek da ngay kontaan ci saa añ ba suur ba gëreesal li nga lekk jëndal bara ataaya bii ndax moom la ñëpp taam gis nga sama client bii ataaya bu neex bu ne moom laa koy njëkk a jox ndax moom kat ataaya bu neex rek lay wër bara wërga bii mooy wërga bi gën te moo gën a saf kon nag ràññee leen ko bu baax kon daw leen gaaw ca Banjul foofu ca INESA di place bi nga xam ni foofu rek nga ko mën a amee wholesale wala retail mu ngi foofu ci boori court house bi foofu ca Banjul wala nga daw ci bépp marché bépp supermarket bépp boutique fépp foo dugg rek di nga mën a am baara warga bii nga xam ne moom la ñëpp di wër tey baara warga moo dàq ci warga yi man maa ngi ci moom ndax su ma maree ataaya moom rek lay naan.
The art of juggling is a true spectacle of agility, coordination, and speed. A symbol of progression, precision, and mastery. .5G speed is like having the juggler in your pocket.
Amazing.
With lightning-fast download and upload speeds, you'll easily be able to juggle even the busiest workdays. Whether you're a busy entrepreneur, a creative, or just someone who wants to stay connected. Juggle your tasks with ease with QCell 5G speed. The future is here. It's fast, reliable, and efficient. First brought to you by QCell. We innovate, others follow.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV News, and I am Jenna Basonko. Now, still on local news, to underscore the importance of public-private partnerships in national health development, the Cornerstone Group, in collaboration with the US-based humanitarian organization MAP International, has donated over $1 million worth of medical supplies to the Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital on Friday, marking the single largest medical donation in the hospital's recent history. Jordan Jai attended the event, and this is her report.
A significant milestone in healthcare support was reached as the Cornerstone Group officially handed over a substantial consignment of essential medical supplies to the Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital. This humanitarian gesture will bolster the hospital's capacity to deliver quality medical care in a country where the health system continues to face resource constraints. The Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital, the Gambia's only tertiary referral hospital and a key institution in medical training and service delivery, has been at the forefront of the nation's healthcare delivery for many years. However, challenges ranging from limited infrastructure to inadequate medical supplies have persisted. Friday's donation is part of seeking to address that gap. Dr. Cherno Jallo, the hospital's Deputy Chief Medical Director, expressed gratitude for the support, noting that the donation will go a long way towards helping them deliver critical care more efficiently and effectively. Olifal, Executive Director of the Cornerstone Foundation, and Alaji Sanyang, CEO and founder of the Cornerstone Group, said the group has a long-standing commitment to corporate social responsibility and sustainable development.
The medication donated today includes pain relievers, antibiotics, gloves, surgical kits, IV fluids, PPEs, diagnostic tools, and other essential medical commodities, and it's worth over $1 million. They were selected by the hospital themselves. These are not medications that have expired or medications that are not needed.
We are working on another package, which is about $9 million for the hospital. And that is all due to the confidence that we have in working with Dr. Bite and his team here. We know anywhere in the world, healthcare is the most expensive, and no single government can do it by themselves. We need the support of everyone.
The group has supported the hospital in numerous ways, including the recent renovation of the Children's Surgical Unit, the solarization of the hospital's main operating theatre, and the installation of over 20 solar-powered boreholes across the country. Dr. Ahmadulamin Samate, Minister of Health, stated that the hospital stands at the peak of the country's healthcare service delivery. He acknowledged that although the country has made significant progress, many challenges still remain in the health sector.
One of the biggest challenges we've been having in this country is ensuring a steady flow of high-quality medications. Each year, there is an assessment, a quantification process for us to procure drugs for this country. At the completion of that, tenders are floated for people to participate following the GPPA rules, and then submissions are received, which are assessed, evaluated, and winners are selected. But the sad reality is, some of the winners that are selected, they do not deliver on time, and they'll be given excuses here and there. And the sad reality is, many of those that don't deliver are Gambians.
As the Gambia continues to reform its health sector under the recovery-focused National Development Plan 2023-2027, partnerships like these are increasingly seen as vital. For QTV News, I am Julden Yai.
Well done to Cornerstone Group and MAP International. Now moving on, the Office of the President, the Ministry of Justice and the UN system in the Gambia have convened a landmark national conference on transitional justice. This high-level gathering marks a pivotal moment in a year-long UN Spotlight initiative that celebrates the Gambia's strides in truth-seeking, accountability and reconciliation. Our Bob has the rest of that.
Following the successful national consultation held on the 28th and 29th of November 2024, the Gambia has officially launched a groundbreaking initiative titled National Conversation on Justice and Peace. The initiative, which is part of the broader UN-supported Spotlight exercise, marks a significant step in documenting the country's ongoing transitional justice process. Hussein Tomasi, the Solicitor General, speaking on behalf of the Minister of Justice, emphasized the critical need to strengthen the Gambia's justice system to ensure credibility, accountability, and lasting peace.
Transitional justice, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, is deeply anchored on inclusive and participatory truth-seeking, reparations for victims, accountability for those most responsible for abuses and human rights violations, as well as reforms, both institutional and legal, including constitutional reform. In 2017, led us to the conclusion that our transitional justice program must be holistic in nature. It must be broad, ambitious, and focus on attaining sustainable peace and development for future generations of the Gambia.
This national dialogue aims to document the life experiences and voices of diverse Gambians, from survivors and youth to community leaders and officials, highlighting personal and collective stories that go beyond policy achievements to reflect the nation's emotional journey toward recovery and reconciliation. The UN Resident Coordinator, Carl Frederick Paul and Siring Bakuring, Executive Director of the Association of Non-Governmental Organizations, Tango, underscored the significance of the initiative, highlighting its potential to advance justice, national healing, and inclusive dialogue in the Gambia.
It is about building a foundation for a better future, ensuring that the voices of the victim are heard, but also that accountability and reform are not only pursued but institutionalized. The Gambia's experience offers lessons not only for our country but also for the broader region, but as well as the global community.
This national conversation on justice and peace is both timely and necessary. It reminds us that peace is not merely the absence of violence, but the presence of justice, truth, dignity, and inclusion. No one should be left behind.
The meeting marks the launch of the participatory phase of the UN-supported Spotlight initiative, facilitated by Corewater International, which focuses on transitional justice and peace building in the Gambia since 2017. It provides a platform for diverse stakeholders to reflect on the country's transition, decisions made, and progress toward justice reconciliation. This event begins an 18-month process of listening and documenting the Gambia's journey, aiming to benefit both the nation and others facing similar challenges. For QTV News, I am Awabob.
The Ministry of Trade, Industry, Regional Integration and Employment, in collaboration with the International Organization for Migration, on Tuesday launched a 3-day capacity-building workshop focused on ethical recruitment frameworks. Yafa Togay tells us more.
The workshop, which brought together key migration stakeholders, including both public and private recruitment agencies, to enhance their understanding and implementation of ethical recruitment practices, is a timely initiative aimed at addressing the growing concern of over-irregular migration and the exploitation of low-skilled workers. With bilateral labor agreements already signed with Saudi Arabia and Spain, the Gambia is taking proactive steps to ensure that its overseas workers are recruited transparently, fairly, and humanly. This move comes as the Gambia faces a critical juncture in its migration narrative. The country has seen significant youth immigration in recent years, primarily driven by economic hardship, limited job opportunities, and a cultural responsibility to support extended families. Many Gambians, particularly youth, have sought perilous routes to Europe, with data from 2016 and 2017 showing that, despite its small size, Gambians ranked among the top 5 nationalities arriving in Italy. Mamadi Damfa, the Deputy Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Trade, elaborates on the important role properly vetted recruitment agencies play in ensuring the safety of migrant workers.
Recruitment agencies play a fundamental role in ensuring labor mobility is conducted with integrity, safeguarding both employers' needs and workers' aspirations and their rights. With ethical recruitment principles at the heart of our discussions, today, this workshop will equip stakeholders with best practices, policy insights, and practical tools to ensure that compliance is observed.
Maristela Njai is the program manager for IOM.
We recognize the government leadership in terms of setting the framework, with a significant step, that effort being the Labour Act that was in 2023, which provide a comprehensive legal framework that regulates labour practices, including the recruitment and employment of migrant workers.
The forum underscores the need for robust recruitment agencies and stronger cooperation between stakeholders to combat irregular migration and protect the rights of migrant workers. Ethical recruitment, experts urge, can serve as a sustainable alternative to dangerous migration routes and offer economic opportunities abroad without compromising human dignity. Mamadou Kamara, a participant and the CEO of Outsourced Recruitment Agency, highlighted some of the factors they consider when recruiting migrant workers. He also gave his take on the Bilateral Labour Agreement Act.
Yeah, this is very important. Looking at the nature of how previous recruitments are done, where there is no involvement of the governments, and with this one, the people that have been recruited to be sent abroad are well protected. Unlike before, where you can just take somebody from the States and send him abroad.
As the Gambia positions itself within the evolving global labor market, initiatives like this workshop highlights the government's commitment to migration governance rooted in human rights, accountability, and international cooperation. Reporting for QTV News, this is Yafatu Gay.
From that story by Yafatu Gay, that is all we have time for in this edition of QTV News. Do join us at 10 p.m. for another bulletin. Thanks for watching.